morning. How are you? Before the service began, I was very nervous. Now I'm very moved after this music and being together. So help me. My name is Martin Coria, and I work for Church World Service. I work, last July, it was 15 years with Church World Service. I started working out of the New York office, New York City office, in July of 2001, a few months before 9/11. I worked 4 years in the New York office and then moved to Argentina, my country. 15 years with Church World Service, and I have known about and worked with and been in direct contact with Christian church disciples and Week of Compassion for 15 years. There's no way you can work in Church World Service, and not being in very close connection with Week of Compassion, especially. If you work in the disaster relief area, in the development area, in the advocacy area, in the refugee ministry, there's no way you cannot be in touch with the disciples, in any way, all the time. The first 4 years I worked in the long-term development area, and I knew that Week of Compassion was one of the few agencies that not only supported after a disaster happened, but also in the long-term, recovery. When I was preparing for today, I said, I said I was going to try to do 3 things in the next few minutes. Some are more obvious than others. Of course, I will try to share some information in a few minutes, using visuals, text, and I know we are going to have an opportunity later to expand in any direction you want. I want to ask questions to the children, so I hope some of them can join. So one of the 3 things I wanted to do in this time is to share information, to begin sharing some information. Of course, I want to thank you. And I also want to, with your permission, be a witness, because the time will come when, you will ask, when did I help, the hungry? When did I visit people in prison? When did I help the refugee? And I want to witness. I want to be a witness in that moment, because I have the privilege of seeing what you do or what we do together, in the different areas of the Church World Service ministry. And for that, so I want to be a witness. I want to serve as a witness. I'm a lawyer by formation, so I know where that comes from. I want to thank you, because since I was a child, I was taught by my parents that it's very important to be thankful. I want to be a witness. I want to share some information. I was thinking a few moments ago that when tomorrow morning you wake up and go to school, go to work, or to do whatever you have to do tomorrow morning, some of the Church World Service offices will be closing. Some of the agronomers, veterinarians, psychologists, social workers in Asia will be going back home. And their colleagues in Latin America will be going home, will be going to work basically at the same time you are doing it. CWS is a 24-hour, operation, east, west, north, and south, here in the United States and abroad. So when you start tomorrow your Monday schedule, you will do it together with many, 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 people that you support, in their ministry, with urban population, rural population, men, women, youth, prisoner families, refugees. So maybe some of you will remember this tomorrow morning. That will be great. I would like to start. I think I need to make this for the, okay. The Church World Service works in in 3-4 areas. In Latin America and the Caribbean, there is a region that I coordinate. One of those areas is hunger and poverty and food security. And we work with partners like Food Resource Bank, where Week of Compassion is also a member and supporter. And we don't work in a lot of places. We selected 7 or 8 distinct places in Latin America and the Caribbean where to work for the long run. And I wanted to share with you a few visuals and why we work in those places. This is a public school in the Northwest Department of Haiti. The Northwest Department of Haiti is, out of the 10 departments or districts of Haiti, the most food insecure one. With Week of Compassion support, we started working in these communities in 2004. This is how a public school looks like in this community. We work in many vulnerable countries of the region, Haiti, Guatemala, Honduras, but most of the times in some of the most vulnerable areas in those countries, like the northwest of Haiti. Areas neglected, with very few services, and where education takes place in these conditions. Next, please. Many of the communities that participate in our programs are really hard to reach, isolated, remote. You need to really work hard to get them. They're isolated from markets, from health clinics, from schools. In some, like in this case, in the Atlantic coast of Nicaragua, you need to travel a few hours, take a plane, and then take a 2 or 3 hour boat to get to the communities. These are not easy places to get to. It's most of the time are places that are under severe water stress. This is just a water camion or a tank going to a community in the border between Argentina, Paraguay, and Bolivia. This is how water comes. And if a small community in this region, the difference between a well-organized and a weakly organized community is that maybe that truck goes once a month or twice a month. A well-organized community can connect with the local government and the water authorities to really make sure that they get the water they need. Areas that under severe process of deforestation, and where all the situations described below end up in serious nutritional risk, especially for children. This is just information from the newest food security program supported by FRB and Week of Compassion. Oops. You can see on the right column the percentage, the number, not the percentage and the number of children under 6 in each of these communities that is at serious nutritional risk. This is the kind of information we used when we start the program. We look at different factors and dimensions, and how children under 6 are doing, and their nutritional status is one of those variables we look at. And you can see from the population column that we work in communities of very few number of people and communities with a large number of people. Next, please. Today, while we speak, next week, tomorrow morning, 156 communities in these countries, in these regions, will receive the visit of an agronomer, of a veterinarian, of a social worker, of an agricultural or health monitor, as part of the programs. Many times people ask, how do you decide where to work and when do you work? When do you start? How do you make those decisions? Number one condition, we need to be invited, to a place. We don't go somewhere if we are not invited. That's something central to how Church World Service works. We are invited by local faith-based organizations. We are invited by local community-based organizations, but being invited to someone else's home is a condition. Many times we begin working after a disaster occurred. many people, sometimes we begin to work in an area after others left because, for a number of reasons, agencies working in poor places, urban, rural, leave that work, and sometimes church work service comes when others leave. And especially under disasters, mega disaster, big disaster, or small disasters, many times you have a lot of relief aid at the very first weeks or month of the disaster, of the event, but then most of them leave, and that's where CWS continues or comes in. Church work service, continues in the long term or comes in when others, left. Church work service works in partnership. Church work service works in partnership with local faith groups, as I said, and in partnership with the local communities where we work. Thanks to partners who understand how complicated, complex, and challenging working in this condition is, we have the ability to think long term. So basically, a typical church work service project works on a 4 to 5 year phase, and then you renew. In many of these localities or places that I listed in Guatemala, Honduras, Haiti, Dominican Republic, hardly you will have 2 good consecutive years, in terms of weather, in terms of crops. These are areas very vulnerable to natural disasters. So in these 15 years, I've seen the same communities hit by hurricanes, tropical storms, droughts, even a rat plague in the Atlantic coast of Nicaragua in 2005 that ate all the crops. So that is a normal event in this. So that's why having time, to think and plan, and move forward and back is important. And Week of Compassion give us some time and that flexibility to adapt, for us to adapt to the communities and not for the communities to adapt to us. CWS doesn't have a CWS solution to hunger, poverty, peace, and justice. We trust that local people and communities, have the wisdom and the willingness to find their own solutions. And our work is to accompany them while they look solutions that work for them, where they live, how they live. So we don't have a church work service package that we deliver. We don't teach what type of agriculture, what type of children programs, what type of people with disabilities program, what type of programs with prisoners' families they have to run. We are there with them, trying to find the best, way to serve. So there's no one-size-fits-all, but there are common elements to all programs. Big emphasis in training, in education, in capacity building, things that will last after the next hurricane, after the next drought, people skills. Huge percentage of what we do is investing in people skills. So they have the skill, men, women, young people have the skills they need, to change and transform their communities. And that means different things in different places. In Haiti means supporting rural cooperatives. In Guatemala, supporting greenhouses run and managed by women groups. That is what works in Guatemala, where we work. The rural cooperative works in the Northwest Department of Haiti. Next. In South America, in a very semi-arid region, it's what communities need the most is to harvest rainwater. So we are working with local nonprofit, local churches, and local government, to multiply this by 100 or by 200 over the next 3-4 years. Because each of this is a solution for the water problem of a family in a very dispersed area. The water harvested will help to irrigate vegetable gardens, in each of these families. As I said, most of the programs include technical assistance, knowledge, and we try for knowledge to move, vertically and horizontally, from an experienced trained agronomer, in Nicaragua, to farmer exchanges. Farmers have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, but sometimes they do not have the opportunity to share that among them. So with Food Resource Bank support, we create opportunities for farmers from the same region or the same country to know each other, to exchange their experiences, and sometimes across borders. Just the last 2 months, farmers from Nicaragua went to Honduras, for instance. Farmers from different parts of Guatemala visited each other. That's part of building skills and capacity building. And many times there are women and youth, rural youth, who participate in these exchanges. Many rural areas in Latin America are aging because the youth in rural areas don't have land in many cases, don't have education opportunities, don't find jobs. They don't have a chance to decide if they want to stay or if they want to leave. They are forced to leave. So what we try to do is to create that opportunity for them to decide. Thank you. This is the ultimate goal. This is a special dish of food from the Caribbean. This is how a great plate of food looks in Haiti. Okay? This is extraordinary. And our goal is that this is a normal plate, 365 days a year, twice a day, for adults and for children, for the elderly. But this is extraordinary. This is a great plate of food from Guatemala. And I think the next one is in South America, Chaco region. We work for this. We work for food in people's tables. We work for people to have food at their homes, in a family, the food they want, the food that will make them healthy, the food they need. We work them to grow the food if they can, but also to purchase nutritious food if that's what they need to do. And we work this to be normal 12 months a year. Today, that's not the case. Today, this is close to normal between 8 and 9 months of the year. Because during 3 or 4 months of the year, people reduce meals, reduce the richness, reduce number of meals, portion size. Even many times, parents decide, have to make the choice who eats, depending on the available food. So if you ask me, what is that Church World Service is trying to accomplish? This is what we tried. I mean, this to be normal. This to be normal. We are getting there. Even after emergencies, even after the emergency, we make every effort possible to avoid giving, of course, many times we have to do it, but to give food. Many times we try, food aid in post-emergency situations to be locally grown food, locally purchased food, locally prepared food. We try to avoid the, solution from the outside. Yes, next, please. Okay. So the previous were just one visuals of the different contexts. You saw, of course, you saw indigenous peoples, you saw campesinos, you saw Afro-descendant population, because that's basically the families with whom we work in those 156 communities. I wanted to ask, the previous one, sorry. I wanted to take the last few minutes to talk about Hurricane Matthew. One thing I didn't say about Week of Compassion at the beginning of my message was that one of the features of, there are emergencies and disasters all over the time. On TV, through email, you just learn about the biggest one. But there are many emergencies going on, many of which you will never know. Because they affect low number of people, or because something else is going on somewhere else, at that moment. And one of the features of Week of Compassion is that they're always there. When a mega disaster like the Haiti earthquake in 2010 or Katrina, Week of Compassion is there. But many times Week of Compassion is there and is the first one, to call. They're the ones who don't wait for CWS to call, but most commonly, Week of Compassion calls Church World Service, to say, we are here, count on us. And that can be a $10,000 response that you will never heard of because it didn't make the news, or can be a super large response. But most of the time it's Week of Compassion who calls to make themselves available to that. An example, as Alex said yesterday, the response to the Haiti earthquake in 2010 was massive, was incredible, incredible. Both in Haiti, because the way Haitians helped Haitians was incredible, incredible. They were the first responders. Before any other foreign entity arrived in Haiti after the earthquake, Haitians were helping their neighbors. And earlier this month, that happened exactly the same after Matthew hit Haiti, on October 4th. Neighbors who still had a house received neighbors who lost their homes. Neighbors who still have food share it with neighbors. Where there was a banana tree still standing, they cut part of it to replant for it to grow faster. And that for us is a blessing to share with them a relief effort. Because they are not all there passive waiting for Church World Service to come with. We have the honor to add to what they already started the hour after Matthew hit Haiti. It was incredible, like here in Kansas or in the United States or in Argentina, when a disaster occurred, you have people who need help and people who offer help. Same in Haiti. These are just images. What caused very serious damage in Haiti earlier this month was flooding, the water, and the wind. Terrible wind. Terrible wind in most part of the country. Calculations, you will never know what's the final number of people affected by Matthew. But agencies with that capacity estimate 1.4 million in total. In the map, sorry, if we can just finish with the map, these are just houses, houses, plantations. But in the map, in the Haiti map, which I think is before this one, you can see the areas most affected, by. Okay, so in blue, in dark blue, and in light blue, you can see the areas most affected by Matthew trajectory, which is this line you can see on the left. And that gives you a sense of where wind and where water cause damage. The 9 cooperatives, rural cooperatives, that with support from Week of Compassion, Church World Service, support since 2004, are located on the upper part, in the blue, in that kind of peninsula that you see there. That's the Northwest Department. It's the only department in Haiti that doesn't have one single mile of a paved road. The department doesn't have one single vocational training school. And that's where the 9 cooperatives are located. Since October 5th, Church World Service has conducted 3 assessment missions. This week, until yesterday, we had meeting with the representatives and the members of all the cooperatives, just to hear their testimonies, their experience, how they responded already, and how we can add and be part of that for the long term. I see Alex, and I know that I don't have more time, but I want to end going back to the beginning. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for all what we do through Week of Compassion. Many things I assume many don't even know, or if you know, you've maybe you don't fully comprehend or understand, what they mean for other people and communities. And thank you for not only for helping, but for the way you help, for the respect for local context, for local culture, for local realities, for local faith diversities that we find. So thank you for transmitting that to Church World Service. I will be your witness, because I can testify, I can give testimony, that you help, people in prison and their families. You help the refugee, you help the displaced, you help the people who needed help when they need it, in a way they need it, treating them with dignity and respect. And as I said, I look forward to have a chance to talk more after the service. So thank you very much. Thank you, Week of Compassion. Thank you, Christian Church. Thank you the musicians. Thank you, the children. And look forward to seeing you. God bless you.